Hey everyone, Miacidae here. Welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. So we are finally back aboard our void ship. For those of you who don't know, towards the start of Chapter 3, I'll put a card up here. There was a series of events that led us to getting captured. I won't spoil that part if you haven't seen it. But essentially, we were captured by the Drakiri. I think that's how you pronounce it. And we only had the companions that we went into that place with. We were even separated from them for a bit, and we had like all of our equipment taken away from us for a little bit, and we had to essentially get through there. And that's what like the past 10 episodes, I think, at least a good chunk of them have been about, is kind of going through Cruadark, more or less, trying to survive it and getting out. So now we're finally aboard our void ship. And I got a lot of Xeno artifacts, things like that, on top of just really good gear. Like, actually, before I talk to him here, I'll show this here. Like, almost all the gear I'm wearing now is what I found in there. The Lullaby of Shail, the Commissar's Cap, even this Headhunter Light Carapace. All of this gear that I'm wearing, and most of the gear that all my companions are wearing, like Abelard's Adherent of Mankind, all of this was found in Cruadark. So almost all their gear has been replaced, which is kind of scary, if I'm being totally honest. We also got a Space Marine, which I'm very mixed feelings about, because cool, we got a Space Marine, but it feels like everyone else does better than him. But regardless, I went and took most of the stuff that we had extra, like all the extra gear, all the Xeno artifacts that we got in there, and, well, I put it towards some of the merchants. So we went from like 9 as a top faction to 25 and 31. So I've just thought I would show some of the stuff that we're going to be getting here, because some of this is actually really good. There's a flamer that I can get for the Space Marine, which is really good and high damage, as you can see there, although it is a two-hander. There's a sword that ignores deflection, which would also up parry and also does more damage than what Abelard has. So there's a lot of good stuff just from Doloroso, so I'll be equipping some of this. I just thought I'd show some of the stuff that we are about to be getting, because this is just from one merchant. There's a lot of it. This Notes on Weaknesses can be put on Marzahai and gain a plus bonus towards direct damage, the bonus being lethality based. This bonus is doubled if the wearer's attack triggers on an opening. Fellowship of the Void is dang near max, because I'm at 31 reputation, it goes to 37. Now the Apex Predator's gloves kind of sounds overpowered. If the wearer has already gained a bonus from Hunt Down the Prey, whenever they kill a target marked as prey, they gain a stacking bonus from this once again. That bonus duplicates the highest tier bonus from a Hunt Down the Prey they've already gained. So if I take down a tier 3, then take down a tier 2, I gain another tier 3, which is that critical bonus, if I recall correctly. So Apex gloves are definitely going towards me. But some of this other stuff is really good too. Demolition instructions for Argenta. Gain 25 demolition in their area attacks with weapons, deal an additional 8 damage. Could be amazing. There's a shield with 40% block chance. At the end of the turn, they gain 16 temporary wounds for every adjacent ally. Whenever the ally takes damage, 40% of that is dealt to the wielder instead, so that could be decent. There's essentially another blade that Marzahai already has, so I can dual wield these now. So after he deals damage to the target with his sword, until the end of combat, he gains a +3 agility, perception, intelligence, and willpower, and the target... Actually, I think this is slightly different statistics or characteristics, but the target would also suffer -3 in all those penalties, so he could have this as well as his other one, so he could do 2 strikes with that in one hit. So, yeah, a lot of fun stuff from Ryza there. A lot of fun stuff to equip. As you can see, there's just so much I could have gone over there. There's just, like, I'm going to have to go through all that equipment. So I'll be doing that in a little bit. Then the Imperial Navy is more just for my void ship. I have a feeling our void ship is going to need a little bit of an upgrade as well. Just based on some of the stuff that we may need to fight in the overwhelming, like, Koronus Expanse when we're going to go to some of the void ship battles. So, just wanted to show that before we go to the Koronus Expanse here. We have a lot of quests and a lot of contracts. Wow. I was not expecting all. Oh, this shows completed ones. Gotcha. I also thought I should look at the colony management here to see if I can put anything new up on these. Which it looks like I can. So I'm just going to, like, very quickly get some perks going. All non-Xeno allies gain 2 deflection against Xeno and demons. Sounds like a good start. I actually probably should be starting to go towards these right away. But as long as these ones don't block other things, I think I'm fine with that. And let's get Light Faith. That way, I get that extra deflection. Oh, that just auto-completes in Foulstone. I was not expecting that. We can then get False Wonders, which no expenses. Gives me Caligay of St. Keith. Whenever wearer performs a heroic act or desperate measure, they recover all their wounds and gain 2 AP this turn. Well, that could be good for a few people. Get people efficiency and complacency here. And that just auto-completes. I just need a reputation with Derusians, which I have here. And my void ship gains the sanctified projectiles, which +4 to macro cannon damage against chaos and Xeno enemies, which are the majority of what I'm thinking we'll be fighting. Get weapons Prometheum security here. Auto completes. And then this one looks like it's not going to... Are none of these going to lock us out of the other ones? Okay. So I need people, Plasteel, and Prometheum for this. And we get Imperial Navy reputation, which is really good. That's what gives us our ships. 5 Navigator Insight, which, because of choosing Cassia for choosing to stand beside me for my Rogue Trader Ascension thing, I have more than enough, so that's not the biggest deal. But plus security. Holy Prey. His remains will become a valuable relic. Why would we want to do that? And then we get the, I'm assuming, the Blessed Lamp of Petracara is part of him, which is a nice little plasma pistol, but on hit inflicts light of Petracara. Creature is blinded. Additionally, hit chance is increased by 10 plus wielder's dogmatic rank and critical hit chance. Okay, so I get a better hit chance against them. That could be a good thing to have in my pocket if I'm having trouble against a boss. It does up my heretical rank, but I don't really care much about that. It does lower my security. So maybe I hold off on this until I get everything else. How is security on Fallstone? Security is out of 10. I don't really care. Maybe we do that then. And then look at the other things that might up security. Because Holy Defenders, Sacred Comet, both of those would up security, so I don't really care. Alright, so let's do Holy Prey. I can't do Gracious Priests here yet because I don't have Praising the Muses. But I'm assuming that's from another area. That gets me a Hospitalant medical kit that restores 15% max wound per rank of conviction iconoclast and removes all injuries. Also removes a bunch of different status afflictions, psychosomatic trauma, and prone negative effect. That's interesting. And Crucible, I gained the Holy Man feature, grants 10% damage for 2 turns and plus 20 temporary wounds when a character uses their origin ability. For me, that's Surefire Plan, I believe. I get 5 profit factor for this as well. After millennia of lying under the monastery, St. Cognis's Titanic machine will soon be launched. It will take resources to awaken the relic, but doing so will bring glory to the Von Valencius name. Sure. So for these two, I need Praising the Muses and an orbital shipyard. So maybe I hold back on the reliquary unless I really like this. All non-Xenos allies gain 5 characteristics and skills, and pieties charged I don't care about. So the reliquary actually sounds like the best one, because all non-Xenos allies gaining characteristics and skills is kind of nice. Pieties charged here, although that is really good. All collisions caused by Thunderhammer's pushing attacks cause 300% more damage. The armor being 85% and heavy is nice, because I only have one other thing that does that, but the effect on it, other than the 4 deflection, I'm almost never going to use because, I mean, hitting a human enemy, rarer than it sounds. Maybe I'll hold off on that until I get Gracious Priest, but then we'll fly through the rest of this. Payment in Organs gets me a new last sniper rifle with 46 top damage. Target must pass an agility resistance test to become slowed until the end of combat. Attacks with this weapon always scored a critical hit against slowed targets. That could be really good for bosses. Here's Secret Lair that I needed for other stuff. This lowers security. I can really lose some security here, but I gain Eldari Machine Taming feature. All allies gain 10% lower Xenos and dodge reduction against Xenos, which is lower Xenos divided by 5. That's actually really good, so might as well get Secret Lair. Xenos Intoxicant gives me my complacency back, and the Vial of Falsto. At start of combat, where it gains MP equal to Resolve, cannot be slowed. If they have Dogmatic, they gain 2 resolve for each rank in Dogmatic. Territory for new aggro complexes can be gained only in one way, the Way of Fire. A lot of Promethium and weapons used, but Master Flame, all allies deal plus 10% damage with Milta and Plasma weapons. That's going to be great for Pascal. And then I'll save all the rank 5 stuff till later because it seems like all these have synergies. Voidship gains Fleet Overhaul feature plus 10% to damage dealt by allied voidships, and we do have one of those. And plus 30 to their hull integrity, so they're a bit more tanky. Don't really use arc rifles, but 25 to 35 damage deals 3 more base damage? What's this based off of? Intellect bonus divided by 2, so this would be a good weapon for Pascal. Whenever the wielder hits a target with an arc rifle, they also hit a creature in a 2-cell radius, so that's just normal arc rifle stuff. Okay. Sanctified Promethium, Rogue Trader and their allies deal 15% more damage with flamers and grenades. I don't really use grenades. I don't really use flamers. I did put one on Ulfgar, a flamer, just to see how he did with it, but I really haven't been using flamers. A Titan Forge Lance. Long-range lance, so even longer range, dealing 84 to 98 damage to a chosen enemy with a narrow firing arc. I like. And then Vulnerabilities of the Xenos. Plus 5% crit chance to Xenos enemies. That looks like a ship ability, but still. And Memory of the Daring. 125 protection to each sector, doubled against kinetic attacks. Archives of the Expanse. Eye of the Ominous Eye provide targeting data, granting 92% hit chance and 15% crit. I don't think that's great, but that unlocked 2 of the 3. I don't have enough reputation with the Explorators for that. Fallstone had a thing. Lord Captain, the Crucible's great sculpting is underway. Fallstone is being transformed right before our eyes into a fertile world with lush groves and clean water. However, there is evidence that the Crucible also has created humans. That does not sound good at all. From the mouth of the relic came several thousand people, speaking archaic form of Low Gothic, demanded to be given orders. They cultivate land, build houses and production facilities with obedience, and in general have remarkable range of skills and knowledge. However, it seems these people completely lack their own free will, and for this the monks have named them Touched. Okay. I wonder if it's like homunculi that came out of it, because that would make some sense. Maybe not homunculi, but like clones or something like that could also be, and they're just waiting to be given orders. There's a split among the faithful. Though many call it a miracle sent by the Emperor himself and want to quickly put the touch to work, a part of the population is frightened by these soulless creatures born from the ancient machine. They demand the planet's learned men intervene in the great sculpting and find a way to stop the production of the touched. Are they dangerous? They do not appear to pose a threat. The autopsy of several specimens has shown that they are physiologically identical to ordinary humans. No traces of corruption or xeno influence were found either. However, their obedience is a double-edged sword. They obey any orders without knowing or caring who gives them, and thus nothing prevents a cunning intruder from bending them to their will, creating an army of obedient slaves or spies at their disposal. That actually is a problem. Advisors. They were begotten by the relic of St. Cognitus, which means their existence pleases the Emperor. Your people must be reminded that is so. Arrange a public ceremony of tonsure to initiate the touch into the Order of the Hammer and a service dedicated to reading papers about the acts of Saint Cognitus and his followers. Why don't you make the first move and assemble a mighty force from these touched ones? If they are so obedient and diligent, then they will make fine troops, assign a loyal commander to each squad and keep an eye on them, and these strange people will turn from a threat into defenders of the Imperium. Lack of will, registering a high probability of manufacturing failure within the Crucible's sacred processes. It is recommended to dispose of finished batches of units and halt production of new ones. The algorithm of the Great Sculpting requires further examination. I get +2 security and Crucible-born Tempest if I go with Ulfars, which I kind of agree with. Touched were recruited as enforcers, gave form to ancient knowledge stored in their minds, modifying the voidship weapons, long-range dorsal plasma cannons which fire 2 shots dealing 26. I love that. I can get icons of the touch. Sacred icons painted by the touch adorn the ship's decks. Enemy crit chance and warp damage against flagship are reduced by 30%. Okay, that, as much as I want like the +5 damage that the Crucible-born Tempest would give me, actually and it's a range increase. That's a big one. Or, following Pascal's advice, nothing really good happens. Or no, Pascal's advice, I get Wisdom Extractor. Allies get 5% armor and a crit chance. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Argenta still, though. Just a survivability thing with my ship. Enemy crit chance. Critical hit chances are reduced by 30%. And warp damage against the flagship are also reduced by 30%, so that's kind of big. So, hold a public tonsure ceremony for this order. And, yeah. I will draft a detailed plan of the ceremony and hand it over to the prelate. Under the guidance of the brothers and sisters of the Order of the Hammer, the Touch carried on with their toils, cultivating land and building new settlements. The public induction of the Touch, along with their diligent service, eventually solidified their image in the minds of the people as executors of St. Cognitus' will, sent to the faithful to ease their burdens during the Great Sculpting. Any concerns about the Touch possibly posing a danger were completely dispelled. Alright. Oh, we got holy gifts for that as well. Then Janus here probably had one. Lord Captain, an Ordo Xenos punitive unit led by Acolyte Lino Ziu has arrived on Janus. The Inquisition forces have already taken control of the Governor's Palace and intend to inquire into recent anomalies on Janus. Heinrichs, I'm surprised that they have informed us of their arrival at all. It demonstrates a semblance of trust. How much did they sniff out? The initial interrogations have set Ziu on tracks of the wretches towards the anomalous region, but her people continue to dig deeper, so to speak. We have a problem since we're colluding with the Xenos here, so officers, Heinrich in particular here, because you know what's happening. Cooperating with the Inquisition will do us more good than trying to hide the current misfortunes of the colony. I can send them a message to keep us informed about the interrogation as a favor. If only we could throw them a bone and let them find the evidence they want. One that would get by without... The rest could be concealed away without the inquisitive eyes. Like a sand lizard shedding its tail, sometimes one must cede the battle to win the war. I hate that so much, but they're kinda right. If someone were to walk around my domain so brazenly, then they would certainly regret it. Lay open the trap, lace it with poison, put down the bait, and wait for the enemy to end their own worthless life. Marzahai, we cannot kill them. We cannot end them, Marzahai. That is bad idea. Just out of curiosity, though, what would I get? -1 efficiency, complacency, and security. Oh, I can't see... No, if I expel them, that's what happens. I can't see what happens if I go with Marzahai's idea, but I'm sure that would be absolutely horrible. If I let the Inquisition do its job, I get a hexagrammic grace, granting 10 logic, coercion, persuasion. That could be good for a few people. We'll throw them a bone, let one place be discovered, and hopefully all the others go undiscovered, to serve Janus and the Von Valancius dynasty. After Lady Zhu set up her headquarters at the Governor's Palace, she began to investigate the situation at Janus. all those feeling guilt for their crimes before the Emperor could only stay silent and pray. During her investigation, Lady Zhu was able to establish that the genetic changes in the wretches' bodies were caused by mysterious substances secreted into the water by xeno-obelisks. These substances did not contaminate the water until recently, as shown by analysis by the Magos biologists. The same obelisks appear to be linked by a chain energy communications, also serving as sources of unknown radiation that seem to have caused the outbreak of contaminated growth in the currently uncontrolled sector of the planet. This also seems to be causing the appearance of mysterious phantoms. According to Zhu's theory, there may be some sort of ancient mechanical construction on Janus that has awakened from its slumber. It is possible that the anomalies occurring on the planet are merely a side effect of the blasphemous machine trying to start itself. Well, nothing horrible happened, right? Then Kiava Gamma, and then we can get Dargonus and all the stuff from that, and then we have to actually go to Vabos before we can power that up. So, Lord Captain, there's been an active sabotage on Kiava Gamma. The Cult of the Final Dawn has invaded the planet, cultivated pack of schismaticals, in the bowels of the manufacturers and set them upon us. The attack was so sudden that we almost lost all workshops, but we had help. Some entities already being called the Data Angels have invaded the cognital network, seized the cognitors and servitors, and used them to repel the first onslaught of the schismaticals. Now there is a fierce struggle taking place all over the planet. The noosphere of the world is boiling. What do we know about these Data Angels? Not much. They are machine spirits, beings born from the art of data smithing. They charge into battle chanting the same binaric mantra that the participants of the procedure 0C chanted. But there are not many nodes where they can reside. Perhaps because we destroyed the cells used in procedure 0C, this is quite beneficial to us, should we decide to refuse the aid of these strange creatures. So I have tech use and demo use here, but also, how did the cultists get on my world? This was part of the coordinated attack that hit the entire expanse, okay. The heretics must have been preparing for a long time, and then they hit while I was gone. So, everyone, opinions. The manufacturers of Kiava Gamma are equipped with backup cognitives to ensure the continuity of production in an emergency. The severity of this situation authorizes the dispersion of the service algorithms, and I am prepared to sanction the ritual that will allow the Data Angels of the Omnicide to absorb the cognitors' computing power to absorb these wicked spirits. I wouldn't trust those uninvited allies of yours. Such magnanimity is wont to come with unsavory intentions. Learn more about these creatures. Order your servants to hunt one of them down, torture it, and gain knowledge through the process, since they are incapable of finding pleasure in it. So Pascal will get me Blessing of the Data Angels. All allies gain 5% perception and 10% armor pen, which is huge, and I gain a complacency. If we go with Marzahai, we gain Dissector, ignore 10% armor. How is that different than armor penetration? I suppose it's technically a different stat. And for deflection of machine creatures, Necrons, that keeps scaring me that Necrons keep coming up and I haven't seen them yet, and targets with the reject the flesh feature. I think I'm going to go with the perception as well, because that lowers dodge if I recall correctly, so I just have a better hit chance in general. I know I don't want to do as much damage because ignoring deflection, but Pascal sanctioned the ritual bonding with the backup cognitors. The request to perform the sacrament is accepted and will be fulfilled immediately. Having gained access to the cognitional reserves after being infused with power, the Data Angels charged at the schismaticals. The hordes of data spirits were tech exorcised and exterminated, and the afflicted mechanisms purged and restored. The tech priest gave the praise to the Omnicide for protecting the production algorithm from severe disruption. After banishing the schismaticals, the Data Angels withdrew into hiding inside the cognitive networks, leaving servants of the Omnicide to guess at who or what these beings were. Well, I gained a lot of heretical for that. I'm guessing I would have gotten more if I would have went with Marzahai there, but that's fine. Darganus. Okay. Let's power this up quick. Holy Prophet. So where do I need to go first? The rumor that I really wanted to do. Does these actually tell me where they are? No, Septum. They do tell me where they are. I didn't realize that for the rumors. I think I want to go to these two first. So, I'm going to go way over here to the two rumors that don't sound like they're going too well. One of them's for House Corda, one's for something else. Oh no. Lord Captain, there's an emergency at the officer's deck. Numerous victims, loss of communications, voidsman report, warp voices filling the compartments. But this is not a warp breach. This is the Xenos you took aboard at Janus. He has gone mad and went on a rampage. I thought I only took one Xenos aboard at Janus, and that was Yerlet. I have two fairly reliable witness accounts. According to the one, the Xenos suddenly assaulted crew members, gutting them at random. Oh, Marzahai. The other claims that there are survivors who barricaded themselves in adjacent compartments. The enforcers managed to isolate the raving Xenos in a dead end, but they have been unable to pacify him so far. What will your orders be? Such are the consequences of ill-considered actions born out of lack of faith in the God Emperor's laws. I am ready to stop the accursed Xenos' rampage personally and repay every life he has taken. Why am I not surprised? Rogue traitor, we cannot bring back your subjects, but I will gladly aid you in disposing of the rabid creature before it mauls even more people. The Vox channel relays a thin sigh, full of realization and fright. Ellen talk? I know what the reason behind Marzahai's madness is. Please, I must accompany you to the compartment. I will help you deal with the Dark One. Yerlet, please explain. Do you remember what happened during my first voyage aboard your ship when I found myself beyond the veil? The servants of She Who Thirsts descended upon the fragile shell that is protecting your vessel from outside. Oh. The soul of an Eldari shines like a beacon in the night, drawing the gaze of Slanesh, stroking her thirst. So, is it same with the Drukhari? The ways of Assyrian keep us safe from her claws, but the Dark Ones never sought to restrain their desires for excess and pleasure in order to acquire at least some protection against our eternal enemy. When the voices of She Who Thirsts called out to me, I found refuge in meditation. I think Marzahai started feeding his withering soul instead of using the only method he knew how. Okay, Marzahai, let's go. Let's do this. The squad of enforcers who has blocked the Xenos in the dead end quarters waiting at the deck. I beg of you, be careful, Lord Captain. May the God Emperor watch over you. Okay, so we need to bring Yerlet. We're not going to bring Idira. I would actually like Cassia here for the extra turn, and we'll go with that. The very first jump with him, as it says. Soulless. Oh, this is bad. This is bad, Marzahai. Why are my men considered goods? Somebody open the door. Open the door before he gets me. Blech. Yep. Dreadmonger grenade. Or move immediately out of the zone? Eh. And then Mars pattern blah blah blah. Very big upgrade for Pascal there. The over-penetration part is good, but I'll take the 5 to 8 more damage, I think. It's kind of sad that that's just a normal plasma gun now. Like, where were those things when, I was just traveling around? The maimed bloody body looks like a broken marionette. So he's gonna be over here. Dark Enforcer? Hello? Oh, Deck Enforcer. You guys good? There's Demonette right there. Lord Captain, God Emperor be with you, and all of us too. Only you can deal with this. This spawn. Permission to report, your lordship. It started a few watches after the transition. After the translation, well, actually, they say this associate of yours had been acting strangely even before that. It's as if he started hearing things. He was swivering back and forth, barking something in a Xenos tongue. Then he grabbed his blade and sliced his hand open. His own hand. Then he suddenly howled and lunged at the people nearby. The voice of she who thirsts. He heard the call. Any of our kind who find themselves beyond the veil become tempting prey for Slanesh. Because I'm not going to say that name. Scythalanthrash, something like that. And your technology that protects the ship from her baleful influence cannot drown out the sound of her maddening voice. Point at the demon. Can you see her? See who, your lordship? Whom are you referring to, Lord Captain? Where is Marzahai now? Oh, the Xenos? He's holed up in there. He nods at the barricaded gate. He crawled a number of crewmen in there like roxas to a slaughterhouse. All we could do is hear screams. Well, we couldn't save them, so we locked them in there so he couldn't crawl back out unless he finds a crack to squeeze through. The prospect of having a rabid Xenos crawl inside our bulkheads makes my heart sink. No, we ought to drag him out, then either put him on a chain or, forgive my bluntness, Lord Captain, swat him down and forget he ever existed. Enough, we're heading in. We'll unblock it right quick, your lordship, if only there was a way to flush that fiend out without going in. Throne's mercy, I completely forgot. The late Technomet, he turned on some security systems right before he bled out. We figured if the Xenos thinks about showing his face, those systems will get him. Point is, we should go with your lordship. With your permission, it wouldn't be right for the Lord Captain going there alone. God, Emperor, protect us all. The officer tries his best to speak calmly, but his voice is quivering. The thought of going inside that compartment has become a death trap. That has become a death trap fills him with dread, bordering on panic. Yeah, I don't blame you after seeing what you have.
Embrace true power.
Who is this? The ruler of the vessel and the master of the lost child? Come closer. Let me get a good look at you. So I can see the demon. Probably because of my demonic, thing. Attachment there. Oh, this is gonna be a thing. I think this will be a good picking up off point. Rescuing Marzahai, maybe. Dealing with Marzahai, possibly in the next episode, because who knows what all is going to be in here. If Slanesh is actually aboard the ship, technically, like, corrupting the ship. This section might be a little bigger than I think it might be. And with how long I've been recording just because of upgrading all the stuff, I'm probably going to trim that down excessively. So this is probably going to be a short episode. But I've been recording for like 2 hours, actually. So, we'll pick up from here next time, seeing what happened to Marzahai. So that'll be it for this time. Like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz. And otherwise, as always, I wish you all well. I will see you next time. And please, have a good one.